Alright, so I thought it might be fun to start the day off with a feel-good story. So we have this from the New York Post. Antifa commander with flamethrower burst into tears during arrest, cops say. And you just got to love this. This guy right here, Matthew Banta, real tough guy. He's been out there committing all kinds of violence at the riots, and he got busted with a flamethrower, among other things, and he curled up into the fetal position, sobbing his poor little eyes out. Now you can see here in this picture, you can see his eyes are red and puffy because he has been crying like a little bitch. Crying like a little bitch. But you can see he's trying to put on a face for the camera as if he's strong and he can stand up and take it. We know that the minute he gets into that jail, he is going to look around and his britches are going to get a little wet. So, and we're going to find this with so many of these Antifa people who get arrested. These people are absolutely not cut out for prison. These people will not survive in there. They are probably a lot of them are going to willingly find someone and be their bitch, for protection. I would not be surprised the first day there he drops his soap in the shower and says, "Who wants to protect me?" And in commemoration of all these riots, I'm wearing my Black Lives Matter shirt here. You can see it doesn't say Black Lives Matter. It says Black Lives Matter. Because here at Revved Up and Ram Thorburn, we are all about correcting the narrative. And if you guys watch my Revved Up show as well, you saw that I put out 3 episodes called Black Lives Matter. We were correcting all of the lies and misleading information that is it's destroying the black community, but it's also leading to all of these arrests. So if you are interested in helping to correct the narrative and also just turn some heads and spark some ire, then there's a link in the description to my Teespring store where you can get this shirt. I have a couple other designs up there. I wasn't going to launch the store just yet, but I figured, you know what, this is topical. So maybe some of you guys are going to a pro-Trump rally. You want to wear this, get some double takes going on. But anyways, let's get into this story. So an Antifa leader known as Commander Red. This guy right here. Commander Red. This guy doesn't look like he could command a battalion of toy soldiers, let alone a group of radical revolutionaries. Oh my god, this is great. So an Antifa leader known as Commander Red, because of course he's a communist, that's where the red comes from, was busted carrying a flamethrower to a Wisconsin Black Lives Matter rally. Black Lives Matter. And dropped into the fetal position and began crying when stopped by the cops. Saw the cops and just curled up on the ground and started bawling his little eyes out. Yeah. This is, I do not feel in the least bit bad about just laughing my ass off at this guy's misfortune, because he is out there committing violence, thinking he's a tough guy, and the moment he gets his comeuppance, his true colors show, and he is about as weak as they come. He is going to go into prison, and it is going to be a really rude awakening for this guy. I guarantee he's going to come out in like 10 years and he's going to have a shaved head with swastika tattoos on him, because that's the only way he was able to survive. Although he's of course going to be the bitch of the Aryan Nation or something. All right. Matthew Banta, 23, is known to be a violent Antifa member who incites violence in otherwise relatively peaceful protests. Really, guys? Really? And otherwise relatively peaceful protests? You guys do know that we have this thing called the internet, and there is this thing called social media, and they share these things called videos. And in these things called videos, there's things called Antifa and things called Black Lives Matter, and they're out committing a thing called fucking violence every damn day. There is nothing peaceful about any of this. I mean, when they're going to. I'm a free speech absolutist, but if we ban the term peaceful protest as some sort of hate speech, I'm just kidding. The slippery slope is not a fallacy, so I'm not actually in favor of that. But all jokes aside, he was carrying stickers and a flag for the controversial group. What do you mean they're not a real group? Antifa isn't real. Antifa doesn't exist. So what are they doing with flags? Another lie that you hear by the media, that Antifa is a hoax, that it's not real, that it's a right-wing talking point. Meanwhile, they're running around with Antifa flags and communist flags, chanting death to America and burning the American flag. But again, we're just supposed to, not trust our lying eyes. We're supposed to trust the good old trusty folks in media who always have our backs instead. So, for the controversial group, the name, which is short for anti-fascist, of course. Which the one thing about these Antifa, anti-fascist, is that they are stuck in 1930s Weimar Germany when the actual battle was between the Antifa communists. They were still communists. They called themselves Antifa because they were against the Nazis, but they were communists. They weren't like disparate groups of political beliefs that just came together to stop the fascists. They were communists. That's how we ended up with East and West Germany, and East Germany was communist because that was the Antifa side forming their own country. But they're stuck in Weimar Germany, 1930s, because they have to pretend, in order to keep the whole anti-fascista action movement alive, that it is the same battle, that they're fighting the same battle in America, and that we have to be Nazis in order to keep this imagination land, this fairy tale going in their heads, that makes them think that they're some great and just peaceful warriors. They're anything but. I mean, they're here. They're not in a fascist country. They're in the land of the free. And they're fighting a battle that's been gone for 80 years now. So he was carrying the stickers and a flag for the group, along with military-grade 5-minute smoke grenades, fireworks rockets, and a flamethrower, according to the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Banta was stopped after being spotted with a whole bunch of white people with sticks, baseball bats, and helmets. Of course they're all white people. I mean, I think probably like 95% of the people out there and protesting for Black Lives Matter, of course that means rioting for Black Lives Matter, are all white people. And they're all these upper crust, like doughy little pampered rich kids or middle class kids. I mean, look at this kid. He probably goes home to like a 4,000 square foot home. His parents probably bought him his Antifa flag and said, "You go have fun out there, little Matthew. Little Maddie, go out there and have some fun." And then meanwhile, they have no idea that he's bashing people over the skulls with baseball bats and causing all kinds of violence. Or actually, they probably do, as we're going to see in just a minute here. So he's stopped with a whole bunch of white people with sticks, baseball bats, and helmets, headed towards a BLM event in Green Bay, police said in a criminal complaint. Do black people even exist in Wisconsin? I don't know. It seems like Vermont, where it's like one of the whitest states you could possibly imagine. So others fled when a cop blocked them with his squad car, but Banta was stopped and dropped into the fetal position and began crying. Like, did he even try to run? or did he get too scared and just freeze up and drop to the ground? I don't know. I really want to see security footage from wherever they were stopped, if there is any. I think that would just be hilarious. I'll have to tune into America's Funniest Home Videos for that one, I think. So let's see. Began crying, the police report said. He complained that the officer got on top of him, which the police denied. Who would have cared if the officer got on top of him anyway? That's just him, despite being in the utter defeat and humiliation of crying in the fetal position, he won't give up that whole "cops are oppressing me." But, and I find it very unfortunate that this guy doesn't have any bruises on him. I would have loved to seen him, be raccooned by the police before being taken into jail. That would have been a lot more fun. But, maybe that would have just caused more problems. I'm being a little selfish there, whatever. So let's see. At the time of Saturday's arrest, Banta was out on $10,000 cash bond after being accused of pointing a loaded gun at a police officer, as well as biting and kicking a cop at a protest earlier this month. So, first of all, he only had a $10,000 cash bond for pointing a loaded gun at a police officer. I'm willing to bet the reason he didn't fire that gun was he didn't know how to use it. Or probably had the safety on and was actually trying to pull the trigger and didn't even know what a safety was. The guy probably has no idea how to use a gun. And biting and kicking a cop? Who bites? Who bites a cop? What are you, a 5-year-old? What is this, kindergarten? Well, seeing how he curled up in the fetal position, crying his damn little eyes out. I mean, this is the definition of he must have been extremely coddled. I mean, this is a regressive person right here. And a serious mental midget at that as well. So, let's see. A condition of his bond was that he can't have a dangerous weapon, according to Brown County District Attorney's Office. Well, he did. Now he's paying the price. And I am enjoying every minute of it. You see this smile on my face? My smile is knowing that right now he is crying tears of utter despair, knowing that he has a future which is he will never be able to survive, or at least not survive without massive trauma. But given the fact that he has absolutely zero problem instilling massive trauma among people in his own hometown, or in the area, in his state, well, I just don't feel too bad for him. The 23-year-old from Nema, about 45 miles outside of Green Bay, was charged with obstructing an officer in 2 counts of felony bail jumping after Saturday's arrest, the report said. He was released late Monday on a $2,500 bond. How does this guy keep getting out on these low bonds? $2,500 bond for being caught with a damn flamethrower while you're already out on bond? He actually should have had his bail revoked. He should still be in jail. He shouldn't even been able to get out. But of course, these Democrat governors in these Democrat areas, I mean, it's almost a miracle that he even had bond, that he even had to pay bail to get out. He was one of 15 arrested at Saturday's Black Lives Matter riots. I'm not even gonna placate this protest notion anymore, that turned violent in the city and was deemed an unlawful assembly. All of these protests turned violent. Why don't instead of doing this whole protest that turned violent, you just say violent riot? Save yourself some typing. Burning buildings, hurting people, shooting, looting, and vandalizing. There's absolutely no way that is a form of protest, Smith told Fox 11 of his zero tolerance stance. That's criminal behavior. Yeah. It's criminal behavior of some of the worst kind. I mean, I guess not the worst kind. We got our Epsteins of the world out there. But yeah, this is absolutely criminal behavior, and it's no way a protest. So at least we have this person Smith out here calling it like it is, because this is absolutely ridiculous. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to bring you guys a fun story where we can actually take some joy in the suffering of somebody who has caused suffering for everybody else. And seeing those puffy red eyes, he fell into the fetal position. Come on. You can't blame me for laughing at him. Trying to be a tough guy out there pointing loaded guns at cops, and then the moment he runs into trouble with one, he curls up like a little bitch. I mean, call it Schadenfreude or whatever it's called. Call it whatever you want. I'm enjoying it. If that makes me a bad person, oh the fuck well. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Please go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this video. Bring some light into the world with this one today. Bring a little bit of joy to your friends and family. Also, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Ram Thorburn. And also, don't forget, if you want to pick yourself up one of these Black Lives Matter shirt, there's a link to my Teespring store in the description below. Also, if you are interested in contributing to the channel, which would be greatly appreciated at this time, there are links to my Subscribe Star, Patreon, and PayPal down in the description below. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.